We're waiting on Joe from Stranger Things.
There's AK.
Post.
Hi, AK.
Animal. Oh, there you go. Katie's here helping me. Yeah.
Hang on. We have to read these to wait for his
Oh,
request.
I see. So when he comes up, I'm going to put him in.
Mm-hmm.
It's always kind of frightening.
Hang on, you have to let me look. You only get a second to get it.
Oh, dang. Okay.
It's his first Instagram live.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really like doing them just because it's so nerve-wracking. You know, you just end up being scared the whole time. But I've got a cool setting.
Hang on. You're going to miss it.
Oh, sorry.
You can do all that in just a sec.
We think it may take a minute or so to get...
What was his name?
Oh, yeah, it was weird. It's a weird name. Yeah.
No, let me go look. It's not D-Joe time.
It should be. Do you want to press that and see?
I don't know. No. Oh, no, it's like Josie or Jizzy or something.
We feel like it's going
Viz Furious.
Is that him?
No, I think. I can't remember now.
I know we can't remember.
Oh, it's Uncle Jeezy. Thank you.
Oh, right. Man, the comments you guys are so great. Thank you for helping us. Yeah.
We are.
Yeah. I know.
I like that they are so technically challenged.
And not always. I mean, we do a lot of things and it's good, but it's like this always feels like you're not quite sure if it's working. But I feel like it's working. Everybody's there. Well, thank you everybody for helping us. Now I feel like it's going to go good. I mean, I don't really know what's going to happen, but whatever's going to happen, we're all in it together. I don't know if you can tell, but we are in Miley Cyrus's. I don't know what she was doing with this room.
Yeah, it was some sort of press. It has the Midnight Sky.
Yeah, some stuff that she was doing for the Midnight Sky song that's just came out. Yeah, and Baby Bloom was sleeping in here last night, and then I was like, oh yeah, I've got to do this live Instagram thing, and then we just thought, oh, that'll be fun sitting in there, but it may, something may. Okay, so now this is I love the chaos of this. Now we're going to go to the Talk House Instagram.
Yeah, and join his. So
we're going to join it. Okay, meet us over there if you can. Okay, sorry. It's about all the confusion.
Wait.
Oh, all right. Now, hey, this is Wayne Flaming Lip. Now I think I'm on the Talk House Instagram Live, and I'm getting ready to talk with Joe, Stranger Things Joe, Post Animal Joe, and whenever he comes up, we're gonna try to. Man, I've got a cool setup here. But I don't want to get distracted if I have to log in with him. Katie's here helping me.
Hey.
We've never really done Instagram Live, but everybody's joining in. All right, it's so cool to see everybody helping us. Thank you for helping us. Okay. But I mean, I don't know if this is.
It's gonna work.
It could just be us for an hour trying to log into each other.
No.
That's not him. Oh, okay. We keep getting requests from someone that's trying to get in, but we're going to hold off and make sure that the right Joe, that we get the right Joe. Hopefully it happens before too long, but we're just too scared that if we do anything besides just this, we'll be lost. I know. We've got the coolest setup though. So we're in Miley's house, and she has this room set up for promoting her new song. And we don't really know what it's supposed to look like. It looks like, like a disco in Miami Beach or something, But it's cool. Uncle Jeezy, there he is.
Hey.
Oh my God.
Wow.
You did it. You did it.
Wow. The adventure.
I mean,
continues.
It's so amazing. I mean, really, to me, the rest of this we could just sit here and know that it worked, and I would be
And
fine.
just congratulate each other for actually getting onto this thing. Sorry about that.
Is it difficult, or I mean, we just have never done it, so it's
No.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. No, I've never done it either. I don't
I
usually do these things. So
no, me neither. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, me.
Yeah.
I mean, I just said yes, and then just thought
It would be easy.
the technicians would do something, but then they just left it to us, and I was like, so yeah, I'm in this cool room.
Yeah. Where are you?
Well, we're at Miley Cyrus's house up in Studio City, up in the hills, and she's doing something else, and we're staying at her house. But we've invaded her sort of promotion room. She has a new song out, and
Incredible.
and
It's like a disco ball. You got
Yeah.
a full forest
it
behind you.
looked like, I think, like a disco in Miami Beach or something.
Exactly. It looks like Miami Vice. You're on the set
Well-
of Miami Vice app.
Either
Yes, almost. Wait. I am still here. I don't know if it's Wayne or if you're the frozen one. Hold on, let me some help.
But I feel like
There we
even
go.
if this
is
is
that better?
you're still blurry, but that's better than it being nothing. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's dicey, but we're getting there. We're getting closer and closer. Oh man.
I feel like it's worse and worse, really. But I mean, yeah. So are you
Yeah, I'm actually just on the other side of the hill from you. I live over in Hollywood, so I'm just, at home hanging out, just kind of. How crazy though? Are all these fires kind of? Is the smoke pretty bad where you're at right now?
We hadn't seen anything yet. I mean, we went for a walk this morning, and it seemed like just a normal, sort of California sky. Is it? Yeah, are there? I mean, people have been sending me pictures of the fires, but we haven't seen any around here. I'd love to see some. I mean, I know that sounds.
It's just crazy. Just all the. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I mean, just all the ash. I mean, it's really kind of scary. It's like.
Well, when we were driving in we didn't know if it was like a dust storm or if it was a bunch of smoke from fires. So we weren't really listening to any news, you know.
Yeah,
But it did seem cool.
Yeah, I know. Like the past few days, it's been kind of like, I thought it was like cloudy, but I think it's actually just really, I think it's just a bunch of like haze and ash and smoke and stuff. It's really,
well,
yeah.
Or just smog. No, I mean, I don't know. I always hate to say that it looks cool if people's houses are burning and stuff, you know. I mean, I'm just like, yeah,
crazy. Anyways, I'm doing good. I'm just kind of hanging out, hanging in there. Pleasure to talk to you. Huge fan. Glad that we could, hop on. I'm kind of pinching myself. I gotta say it.
Well, I mean, we're fans of yours. I mean, we don't know all your music, but now you've got your solo. This is your solo thing that's just out.
Yeah. I worked, actually while I was shooting the show, I was working on music. I just have always done it as kind of like it's great when we're on set or working, as an actor, to just like have something else creative to do that you can actually take control over,
Well, I always say, anybody, any creative person that isn't doing music, I mean, not everything else, you could be doing everything else, but if you weren't doing music, you would want to do music. Everything in the world, every visual thing, no matter what, it's like you'd always need music. And it's like I feel the same way. It's like, even if, I think I'm mostly like a visual creative person, but then when I was like 16 or 17, I was just like, I know, but I want to see what music is all about. And it's like, I don't see how it's just too enticing. It's like, you just want to mess with it and see what's going on. I mean, obviously musicians, I don't consider myself a musician. That's why I say it that way. Obviously
you don't consider yourself a musician?
I really don't, only because I'm around some really insanely, next level musicians. And then I know, I'm not one of those. I feel the
same. I totally connect to that. I feel the same way. I feel like I just have so many friends who are talented, and, it's just like, I really love, I feel like in your music, especially this new album, is the same way. Like the arrangement part of things really seems to be very strong, especially on this album for you guys. It's like, is that kind of what you most enjoy, is like the arrangement and the writing stuff? Or when you say you're not a musician, do you mean you're like, not a virtuoso sort of player or whatever? Well,
or like even like a performer, some of the guys in the group would be like performers, but I've definitely performed a lot now that I've been in the Flaming Lips since, the early 80s or whatever, but I still don't think of it as like, it's just scary. I mean, we love to make records. And so that part of it always worked for us. There was a while where we thought we could just be like one of these, I don't know if people even remember like who Steely Dan is, or like the way that, Brian Wilson and the Beach Boys would be, where you just make records and you don't go out and play,
Really? That's crazy, because I feel like your live show is such a huge part of your guys. Now it's like this, like, I've been to a few of your shows, and it's like a big element is, and I think a draw to people is the live shows.
No, and I think it is. That's what I mean. It's such a bizarre thing because, I think we made the show so it didn't seem like it was about us. I don't. That sounds dorky, but like when you go to see, I don't know, like someone like Beyonce or Rihanna, I'm sure, I'm not in a bad way, but I'm sure they sit backstage like, you motherfuckers are coming to watch me, I'm going to motherfuckers treat because you're going to get to watch me. And we're not like that. We sit back there and we hope like the lights are working and the video works and the PA works and, like everything works. And then we feel like, oh, good. Well, we can stand here and sing our songs while all this stuff is working. And I think that's this insane show. And, and we accept, we're part of the show, and being there and being personable and being, part of the experience. But I don't think we would ever want it to see. I'm even doing this thing with you with gadgets. You know what I mean? You're bravely just, and I'm
just sitting in my boring room, and you're in a full club. Hey, you're in Miley Cyrus's personal club.
Yeah, I mean, so I feel like it was bad, but Wayne's lighting looked great.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, but I mean, and I don't mean that as like a cop out. It's just that's always been our thing. Is just we love making records, and we kind of feel like we'll just keep making them until people say no, we don't want your records, or you can't make them or put them out anymore. So we thought it would only last like 1 or 2 records, and now we've been doing it where it's going to be like 40 years before too long. So yeah, just insanely lucky, but not like I didn't get into it to think like, man, we're like the Beatles, I mean,
Sure.
weirdos getting to do our thing. And then now, well, this has happened. Now I'm talking to you.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of I feel like that's the way to like kind of do it for a long time, or at least I hope, is just if you really truly enjoy making the music, it seems like that is truly the way forward, is that if you just love doing it enough, and hopefully there's an audience for people that,
Well,
people listen to it.
Yeah, I mean, whatever drives people. I mean, there's a million mechanisms, that let you say this is worth doing. I mean, the greatest thing that can happen is that you get to connect with other musicians and artists, and they say, I mean, even like doing this thing with you, where like, oh my God, I would say this: we were watching Stranger Things before anybody even knew it was cool. We were watching, think this thing is cool. And then, the next thing we know, everybody said it's cool. And we're like, well, maybe it is. I don't know. So, but that to me is the most rewarding part of it, is that you really do get to talk to other, because you're doing art, because you put yourself out there, it allows you to be able to like talk to other cool people. And I love nothing more. I mean, I'm a fan of everybody too. I love nothing more than talking to other artists, musicians, and actors, and filmmakers, and anybody that does anything cool. It's just insane to be able to talk to them. So yeah.
Man,
is this how interviews go with you all the time?
No, it's great. I honestly prefer this. It's kind of nice. It's just like that was something that I think is really appealing about this, is just being able to like talk to another creative person about like what they do and what they, also as like a young musician, kind of just trying to figure out what I'm doing, how I want to go about, making music and stuff. It's just cool to hear you talk,
You write the songs. You're the guy that writes the songs, then you're the singer, and you're basically our producer.
Well, so for the record that I released about a year ago, that was the case. And then the record was produced, me and my buddy and partner, Adam Tyne, we worked on that record together kind of after I had written everything. But this new song, me and Adam both wrote it together. And man, what a joy. It's just like being able to collaborate on music and see something through from beginning to end. It's just it's like a child. It's so fun to see something that it was just a little small grain of salt in your mind grow to this, fully realized thing. I just really love the collaboration process. It's so
Do you
fun.
feel like when you're doing like your own music and your own songs, and that it's different than being like directed, like you're just a piece of this bigger thing and someone's giving you direction and you're a character? Or do you, for me, I do so many things where I'm the guy in charge. I love to be told what to do. I mean, if it's by someone that knows what they're doing or whatever, I'm take direction and say, good, it's not my vision, it's not my dilemma. And I think sometimes people think it's the other way around, that no matter what situation you're in, you'd be like, all right, it's got to be my shit. But it's like, I'm not like,
sure. I enjoy that. I love being able to like sit back. I mean, I guess I was coming at it from when I wanted the reason maybe I started recording music and trying to release it was because I felt the other way. I was like ready to take control and see something through all the way. But I truly do enjoy being able to work under the Duffer Brothers and just be able to play this small part in this really amazing thing that they've created, because it's their baby, and it's so they have fully realized this thing. And
well, but that's that's what I say all the time. It's like, really, if you're doing something cool and you get to do something cool with cool people, that's all. That's enough. It doesn't have to be
Yeah.
number one. It doesn't have to make $1 billion. You know, it's like that's enough right there. Even if it never even gets put out, you could sit there and say, when I was doing it, it was great, and everybody was working hard, and we did cool stuff. I mean, you know, to sacrifice all your time and all your work. I mean, sacrifice is a bad word, you know, but to think this, I'm only going to do this because I want to make money and I want to be famous or whatever. There's no way that's ever going to work. I mean, people must do it or whatever, but it's like, there's no way that's ever going to work because there's too many other options now. So you being,
and you'll be so unhappy too. You'd be like, I just feel like you would be truly unhappy if that's the you know, what's fueling the fire.
well, people are, it seems like people are unhappy anyway. I mean, I'm not.
Yeah. Well, that's what I mean. I mean, if you're like in the studio or making music with your friends and truly enjoying it and working with people you think are really creative and amazing, that's the, there it is. You know what I mean? That's the best part, I feel like.
I think it's like, if you're creative and you're around other creative people, then you know what being creative is. And so, yeah, it's got a thrill about it. So you being known mostly as an actor, would you say?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
didn't feel like, okay, people know me as an actor, but now I'm going to do music, or you didn't care about that, or you didn't consider that, or doesn't matter?
No, I think it's kind of like, can be sort of treacherous. I don't know. I just kind of wanted to like put the music out, and if it worked, it worked. If it didn't, it didn't. But I wrote it, and there it is, and just see what sort of happened. I didn't. You want to kind of step carefully, because it's, I guess you want people to enjoy the music because the music is good, or it means something to them, rather than because of some other thing that you've done, I guess is the
well,
I
think it's impossible to separate it. You know, it's impossible to say,
Totally.
well, if you be here, but to me, it's like, you just have to do it, because I mean, there's 1,000. You know, I mean, I'm sitting in Miley Cyrus's house. So that's why I say it.
There you go.
Time when people thought that she's just an actor, you know, and now I think it's been. I mean, I'm sure that's probably always going to be with her, but there's a lot of people that just think that she does music. So, you know, but her character did music, you know, in the show. So it was kind of like, well, you know, but yeah, that part of it is always like, well, you know, did you feel like it's egotistical to do that?
Yeah, you worry about it, sort of. You don't, I
mean, I don't know. That's, to me, like, just creative people, I always sort of feel like, especially like you said at the very beginning of the thing, it's like, you have other things you want to do. I mean, I feel the same way about being in a band. I mean, I love how much stuff that being in the Flaming Lips that I get to do. But there's a lot of times when you're on tour that your day is just filled up with, I mean, it's not miserable, but it's just sort of like you're in an airport, and then you're sitting there for sound check, and you're really only doing music sometimes for like an hour out of, you know, 60 hours you spend, you know, trying to do it, you know, which is great because you're doing stuff with people and your friends and all that. But for me, I mean, I just don't want to just do that all the time. That's why I'm always like, I'm painting and I'm making movies and we do music videos, and we sometimes put out 2 or 3 records even a year, because it's like that part of it. I guess it's like the maintenance of trying to be a rock star is just too much time involved where you're not doing anything, and it requires people are paying money to come and see you. It's just such a big responsibility, and so. I mean, for me, that's where it gets a little bit like, I just like doing other stuff, you know, and
how do you stay like fresh? What stuff do you do to stay like, you know, like creatively charged when you're, you know, on the road, or when you're at home? Do you like, you know, after a big tour, do you just like, what do you do to unwind and, you know, kind of get back into the creative mind space?
Yeah, I don't really have that. I mean, I don't really ever get, I've got so many ridiculous ideas, but I don't ever think my ideas are like the greatest thing ever. I just start to do stuff. I don't really think like, oh, I've got to make the greatest record ever.
Yeah,
I just and that you have these other people too. I mean, you talking about collaboration. I mean, for me, music and collaboration is why it's so, like, it's just almost impossible to describe what music does to you. People would always think of like being a painter, that's just you painting in your room or something. And even like being like a director, it's like I sort of feel like being a big time movie director like a Martin Scorsese or Alfred Hitchcock or something. That's just them and they're telling everybody what to do.
Right,
But
right.
you really don't want that. I mean, I go into it where I have a little bit of an idea, but I think that's my superpower, is like, I'll just feel like I can finish it. I can do it no matter what it is, And I think that's even what you, at the beginning, it's like, just to know you had this little idea and then it became a record. It became a song. It became something that's, you got out of your mind and now is in the world. So that part of it, I just never really get tired of it. It's always inspiring and you just get to make stuff. But I think if you're trying to, it would be horrible to think that you're trying to have another number one hit record
yeah, definitely. I mean, that's when it flies. That's when you can't. If it's not natural. I mean, do you try to like finish? Going back to kind of what you're saying, is it like, this is something that always really interests me with musicians. Like when you have an idea or when you're working on a song, is it something that I guess it probably varies case by case, but will you try to see something through in one sitting? I was actually talking about this with Adam. We've been working recently we've set like kind of mini restrictions or goals for ourselves. And recently one of the goals is like, well, let's just try to finish this song. We've got 5 hours. Let's just like sit down, get the structure. Maybe it's not perfect. Is that something that you find useful, is setting up these little, you know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. I mean, I find that truly creative people love a little bit of juice to say, okay, it's got to be done now, or it's like, or someone's going to tell you, I wanted to do this. I mean, we're always asking for any input that you can get, any deadline that you can get, at least gives you some reason to do it now as opposed to doing it later tonight or next week. Yeah. I mean, we're always doing that. Plus you just run out of time and you run out of money, out of, whatever you were doing. Sure. But like, you can always change your mind, I mean, that's the part of it, to get it to where it's outside of you and then you can listen to it and other people can listen to it and you can start to get some idea of it. Is it any good? I think all ideas, when they're in your mind, I mean, people's ideas, because it's like, well, yeah, I mean, all ideas, as long as are great, because
Yeah.
It's sometimes getting exactly one. You hear it and then you go, I got exactly what I wanted and now I don't like it. It's like, and that's, I hear people talk about that all the time. In my head, it was great. It's like, well, yeah, that's what, that would be true for everybody, but then as soon as you try to get it out of your head, you realize, oh, that's a Beatles song I've been singing. No wonder it's great. It's not really my song.
Right.
Or you didn't realize it was a Beatles song. You played it and someone liked it, But I mean, no, I mean, to me, it's like, it's just that mechanism of it. You just got to do it. And it's better to do it with some urgency and to say it matters than to say, I don't know, that, to me, that just defeats everything. There's like, what?
Yeah. Like what? Oh, hold on.
Oh. I see the comments. Can you hear me now?
Wayne, get you? Got you here? I got you.
I can hear you now. Can you hear me now? I can see
I can hear you
but
now,
I
yeah.
can't.
It's a little skippy, though, I will say.
Yeah, it's like your video is behind your talking.
Yeah,
I know
likewise.
I know what happened. Seemed like it was going so well.
We were good. What were we doing? Did we talk about something? What happened? We were doing so good here, and then all of a sudden,
I know we got censored. That's what happened. You were telling.
We were talking about. It was too real.
Yeah.
It just got too real.
Instagram shut us down, dude.
Just shut us down, man. We can't be talking about this sort of stuff. No.
It was. I think it was you. I don't think it was me. I mean, I was just playing along. You know.
Yeah, of course, yeah. Yeah, I think
but no,
it's so
I mean,
cool
it's
to talk about like other people's process. That's a real cool thing about collaborating with different people that I love too, is that you can kind of like get a little window into how other people work. You can almost like sort of try on little things or tricks that they do, you know, whether it be like something like technical or just like ways that they think, you know what I mean? You can I just love being able to do that. It's so cool. Oh my gosh.
Is it working now?
Oh yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. I mean, well, like with the way that Steven and I work, I mean, he's such an insane musician that I would never have any clue as to what he's doing, you know? Mm-hmm. And then he knows in a way, like, I'm going to make a song out of nothing. It doesn't really matter. But if he gives me like something that's already fantastic and he knows I can make that into a song, we're off and running, you know? Yeah. So, you know, like in the way that we're collaborating, he's doing something that I'm never going to do. And I'm doing something he's never going to do. I always say, you know, what we do to each other's stuff is we're the salt to each other's French fries. So we think about this equation. The potato and the French fry is like doing all the work. No one would ever just say, here's some fucking salt, you know. But to me, French fries without salt is like, well, I don't care. I don't want to eat it. It's just a bunch of greasy, bland potatoes. But a little bit of salt, I'm like, it's the best thing ever, you know? Yeah. But with potato, without the grease, without the temperature being right, you know, it's nothing. But so that's what I always say we're doing to each other's stuff. It's like he's bringing me this great cooked, perfect French fry, and he knows, like, you got to give me some salt, brother. And I say same thing to him.
Yeah. How perfect, though, that, like, you guys have found each other and linked. Isn't that crazy that it just worked out that way, that you found each other?
Yeah, I mean, it's the most insane luck ever. It really is. I mean, I didn't even realize it at the time it was happening because I didn't know how great of a musician he was. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know how ridiculously unmusical I was. You know, I'm sitting there thinking, I'm pretty cool. I can do this, you know. And then little by little, you know, we started to make records and records. A little bit, I was like, I don't know anything. And here I am working with this guy that knows everything. But I think that's the thing about music, you know. I mean, you know, it is just making cool sounds. There's nothing more to it. It's like if people like what you do, it doesn't matter what it is or how it works. It's like, cool, you're doing it, you know. And I know music has a lot of great, you know, theories and ways of making stuff, which is wonderful because it's so dense and complicated and all that, especially to make emotional music, you know. But I don't know what that spark is that makes it, that works, you know. If it, you know, so it always is. I always feel like if it's good. I mean, even listening to the little bit of your brand new music that I heard, I was like, oh, this is going to be great, you know. It's because it's like you just automatically in the first 20 seconds you kind of feel like, oh, this is cool. This is interesting. It sounds cool. It sounds interesting. And then without knowing, you know, all the things that you're singing about right away, I always like that first, you know, where it's like, oh, I like this vibe. This sounds cool. You know, I know a little bit about you. I know a little bit about, you know, your life a little bit and all that. So it's like, yeah, but I don't know what that is. You know, I don't know. It's you know,
completely, yeah. Isn't that crazy? That's completely just gut. It's a gut thing. I think that that's also
yeah,
such a
it's a
talent in music to have that gut instinct and to really trust it is it's huge. It's like the
well,
guiding light almost, you
well,
know?
listening is the great superpower. You know, I mean, so
I
many
mean, for
times.
acting too, the listening. Yeah, I mean that's the whole game. If you do,
But
if
see,
you're a great listener, you know.
yeah, well, that's what I mean. It's like people don't realize, even though, uh, you know, people think it's about performing and talking and having something to say. It's like, maybe so, but it is really more about just you're listening and you're trying to understand and you're hearing this and hearing that. Otherwise, you wouldn't even know if you're doing it. You know, you have to listen to your own music. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
I sometimes people talk about that as like, oh, I never listen to my own music or whatever. I'll be like, well, how would you know if it's doing anything? I mean,
yeah,
I'm lucky that
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
we're making our music, but I sort of feel like it's not just me. You know, I'm listening to all these other guys and Dave Fridman, the producer, and everything. It's like it's wonderful. You know, I don't look at it like it's an ego where I'm just listening to myself. That's like I'm trying to make this thing, but I just compare it to like a chef in the kitchen making you some food. You know, he's going to try it, he's going to taste it, make sure it ain't fucked up. You know.
I completely agree. It's the same thing. I feel like in the acting, if people say that they can't, you know, watch their own movies or watch their own thing, I think it's just part of getting better. You know what I mean? You got to be able to sort of stomach it, just so that you can, even if you're embarrassed, you got to stomach it, just so that you can look at it critically and say, okay,
Well,
you know,
yeah, I
you know,
totally agree. I mean, whenever
yeah,
you know, I never listen to interviews like this. I mean, I'm glad that people are.
yeah.
Hope it works, and I'm grateful that this I'm given this time. I'm to talk to you. It's amazing, but gosh, I mean, if I was ever to watch it back, I would just start sweating. You know, it's like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, you know. But I'm hoping that that's a normal reaction to, like, you know, being in the
Yeah.
moment. I mean,
I think so. Like being in the moment in front of a bunch of people, like, you know, I mean, especially with this stuff, it's like, I feel like it's actually easier. If this were
well,
to be an in-person thing, you know, that I feel like I would be actually maybe less stressed about it. Because there's something about like being through a phone that is just,
yeah, yeah.
you know what I mean? Maybe you miss certain cues or, you know what I mean? Yeah.
When you when you're acting,
Mm-hmm.
are there times when you're doing it, do you feel like nailed it, and then you see it later and think, oh, I didn't nail it? And the opposite, do you think sometimes that didn't work, and then you see it later and you think that really worked?
100%. I'd
Yeah,
say all the time that happens, you know,
that's where
all the time.
I would say the same thing. It's like there's a conception of like, oh, you know, the universe lines up and you feel it and it absolutely works. And I'm like, I don't think so. I mean, I think it's like you don't know all the elements that are at play, and you don't know the momentum, and you don't. It's like, yeah. I mean, I think, you know, obviously you're in the zone already, and there's a lot of good things, you know, that can possibly happen. But we do that all the time. You're in the middle of making something, and you know, part of you was excited, but like you're saying, you guys put a limit on, like, are we going to work for 5 or 6 hours? Hopefully by the end of it, you're still excited about it, but not often. You know, you start working on it and you say, well, okay, you know, I'm past the thrill of it or whatever. But then you listen to it later and say, oh man, you know, that was cool, even though we were burned out.
There is something here. There is a little nugget here of something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, that's a difficult thing. I mean, we struggle with that all the time, to sort of retain the feeling of it, as opposed to just keep producing and keep it and make it into sound or whatever. You know, you want that connection. And I don't know how that works. I mean, I really don't. Yeah.
As somebody who's made like a bunch of different records, I think like a record is such a beautiful piece of art, you know, front to back. It's just this like beautiful sonic little painting, you know. And somebody who's made, you know, you've made so many records, do you kind of have like a different goal going into each one, or do you kind of have you gone into different records wanting different things, or with different things in mind?
Yeah.
And
Well,
kind
I
of
mean,
what
I think,
was your goal maybe on this most recent one?
well, I mean, in the very beginning, we stumbled upon a couple of songs that we thought, oh, these are like nice little emotional, like heartache, nostalgic type songs. So that's the main thing, songs. I mean, I could hear that with what you were doing. It's like, well, he's got songs, and that's the main thing, And then, I mean, I always say it's sort of like, the gods of music have to help you, otherwise,
Truly.
you're just kind of swimming in the dark, But if you get a song, so we would get like a song. We think, man, that's got a special vibe to it. Let's not fuck it up, And then we would keep it. Some of these songs we would have for like 2 or 3 years, and just keep trying to get another song that has a similar vibe to it. And then once we would get like 5 or 6 of them, then we would jump into like real work and say, well, let's try to do 4 or 5 in this vein and see if we can really nail it. And sometimes those end up being really your best songs because you're already in a zone. You already kind of know who you are and what you're singing about. And, you've already had a couple of practice runs at it. And so to me, that's a good sign. And then, I mean, even like with some of our older records, even Yoshimi Battles the Pink Robots way back in 2002, we had like 6 or 7 of the songs going, but we didn't really know what we were doing. And then the minute I stumbled upon the idea that it was going to be Yoshimi Battles the Pink Robots, I could see everybody in the room just like, oh, good. Now we know what to do. We know who the characters are and the sounds and everything about it just became more, it was suddenly like, we all knew what the story was, So you want to get to that, but that is no guarantee that it's good. That's just getting excited and being, doing something cool. But yeah, I mean, I think there's oftentimes we'll start to make a record and we'll just be inspired by other groups. I mean, the guy from the Silver Apples, I saw, sent me some news this morning. He was 82 years old and he had died yesterday. And this is, their first record. I don't remember when it came out, 1969 or something. It's an old record, but we didn't hear it till the late 90s. But once we heard this record, you can't escape it having an impact on you. It must be like when the Beatles heard Jimi Hendrix or something. It's like if your mind is open to cool shit that's happening out there, there's so much cool shit that if your mind is open, you'd want to make as many records as we have,
Yeah.
Like, I want to do that. I want to do this, And even when we worked with Miley, back in 2014 and 15, just being in that environment, something we'd never been able to do that. And just being in that environment and working with her and Mike Will is like, it just blew our minds. And we were like, let's make more music like that. It's cool because it's fresh, but it's more like you're just hearing stuff that you don't, that you want to use that as a new type of paint or a new type of way to make a movie or something. It's like when Sean Lennon gave us this old plastic synthesizer, we recorded some stuff at his big studio up with where they live up upstate New York with Yoko and stuff, And when we were leaving, he gave us this old plastic synthesizer. And once we got it home and plugged it in, it's like we couldn't stop making music with it. No music that we heard after that did we like for like 2 years. It was like it all had to. So yeah, I mean, but I would be the first one to say you have to allow yourself to be an idiot, and you have to allow yourself to be the fool and to be wrong and to withstand embarrassment and all that. But that's what music is. Most music is. What's great about it is it's someone saying, I thought I was smart, and now I realize I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Who wants to listen to music where everybody's, I'm the smartest motherfucker ever, fuck you. It's like, you want to hear that struggle. And so I always feel like, and I get obsessed with stuff, but it is just dumb music and art, it's that you have to you know, why not?
Can't take it
I
too
mean,
seriously. Yeah, I feel, yeah.
yeah. I mean, I tell people all the time, it's like never sacrifice anything for your art and music. Just make time for it. That's what it is. It's not
Yeah.
sacrificing your life. It's like just defend your time. And if you want to do it, try to make time for it. And if you're sacrificing all your relationships and all your friends and all these cool things, I think your music will probably be pretty horrible because it'll just be about your silly little narcissistic self, you know. But
Yeah.
most great music isn't made like that. You know, that's why oftentimes I think people are in the middle of making like they're big rock stars flying around the world doing all kinds of crazy shit, and they still make the greatest records ever. Like, when did they have time to do that? You know,
Yeah.
I think about like the Beatles records, or even like you know, when people talked about Bohemian Rhapsody, you know,
Yeah.
craziest fucking song ever, you know, and they're in the middle of doing all kinds of crazy shit. It's not like they sat there for 3 years and thought, oh, we'll do this and do this. Shit happening, you know? So, yeah, I mean, I don't know, but mostly it's just dumb luck. But you've got to really, if you're trying hard, I think the gods of music, I'm looking up at the gods of music.
Yeah, that's where they live, is in there.
The gods of music they'll know that you've been working hard, and then they'll say, let's give Joe.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Joe.
like a little bit of luck, a little bit of work. You know, it's like if the opportunity comes at the right time, you kind of that's the whole there it is, right?
And then I think they also watch you and say, you know, we gave him a good song. No, he better not fuck this up, you know. And we've done that like, well, we had a great song, and then we didn't know what to do with it. And in time, I think, you know, you try to figure out the way you present it and the way you accept it and the way you can be with it. And, you know, if the greatest thing that can happen is that you write a song and people know you through your song.
Man.
But a lot of people hate that, you know, like,
really?
You don't know me. That's just a song. But for me, I don't say that at all. I mean, I when people come up to me and say, you know, I love your song, do you realize, or, you know, or Spoonful Weighs a Ton, or one of those, I'm just, because I'm like, well, you really know me. I mean, you know, I don't know you personally, but you really know me because I'm in that music. And if you like it, then you like me, you know. But the other side of it's true though too. You know, if you don't like it, then it's like, well, you probably don't like me because
yeah.
But that's okay.
We might not get along.
Yeah, you know, that's okay. Yeah, you know.
Yeah. It's fun. I think that's something that I really have come around to. I was really kind of like sonically focused on music for a really long time, but I think in the past like year or two, I've really started to enjoy just really listening to lyrics a whole lot more and really trying to, you know, spend more time focusing on my own lyrics. When I kind of wrote, when I kind of wrote the lyrics for the record that has been out for a year, I kind of did so in this like stream of consciousness sort of way where kind of like all these like little scenes or something that kind of give me a feeling, but I'm not sure if it would give someone else a feeling. And it's exactly what you're saying right now. It's like I've had a couple people come up and say, hey, listen, this song like really meant something to me. It's really pretty kind of like shocking and
but
crazy,
see that
know?
Thing you're saying is that's the truth about music. You know, they seem like they're silly things, but it's not in music. You know, music, I mean, I always say one of the greatest songs ever, I wish I'd written it, is the song Happy Birthday. We sang it to Katie just last night. It was her birthday.
There you go.
And it's so, I mean, it's the simplest song ever. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear. And then you put the name in, and that's all it is. And it's the most wonderful thing ever, you know, because it's a song. You know, it's not meant to be anything more than a song, you know. And so, you know, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I think there's writers like Nick Cave and Bob Dylan whose lyrics alone, you know, are like, my God, you know.
Yeah.
But my songs wouldn't be like that. You know, my songs would just be, you know, weirdos screaming in the dark thinking, oh, you know, this, I felt this, I felt that, you know. Or a lot of times you don't even have lyrics. You know, you have some words and then you have to fill it in with stuff. You know,
Right.
like
That's so difficult, though. I think that's like having to fit a meaning in, or trying to like fit this thing into this fully existing song. I think that's almost harder. You know, that's almost harder than.
Well, I think it's harder because it's not pure. You know,
No,
I mean,
yeah.
I would love to just be able to walk in with a song that's, you already know, here's an intro and here's the first verse and here's, you know, but you don't. I mean, a lot of times you get to something great, but it's not all the way there, you know, and then you gotta ask the gods of music, please help me. Please help me through this.
Guys.
Yeah.
Please.
But I think if you working, I mean, I would say all the time that, you know, like we would have 2 or 3 songs and then we'd just put those together. You know, they would be like sort of little songs, and then we'd put, you know, well, that's a little song, put it next to this little song and sort of see if you can connect them, you know.
Great,
And so any way possible, any panic that you can do, you know. And then I do think sometimes you just get lucky that you've just said something and you just sang something and it really worked. I mean, we did Do You Realize, you know, it's like I didn't really know if it was working, but I could tell when Stephen was listening to it that he thought it was really working. And so that makes you feel like, oh, well, okay, you know, what do I know, you know? And then when we would play it for Dave Friedman, the producer, you know, he'd be like, well, that really works. And I'd be like, well, good. I mean, I was hoping it worked, but it didn't. I changed. Yeah. So, you know, that's the part of it that I think you just have to be willing to be embarrassed about, you know. I mean, no one is ever going to say, you know, you wrote 20 shitty songs, bad songs. You know, no one ever really says that. They only know if you have a great song, you know, and it does. Of course, everybody that writes, if you write one great song, you've got 500 shitty ones. Who cares? You know, that's just the way things work, you know. Yeah. So, you know.
Yeah, but super easy to be like precious about stuff too, like, you know.
Oh yeah.
That can be also, I think, a recipe for disaster. I really connected this thing you're saying though about like the fool, because, you know, that's just so key for the creative process. It's you can't take yourself too seriously. You're not. I don't know. I'm not a genius. I'm just, you know, doing something because it's fun. And you know, I enjoy it.
Right. I mean, I think anytime someone thinks they're a genius or tries to be a genius, it's never gonna work. It's like being a genius isn't up to you. It's like, if you know, I would just rather you do something really cool and great and it not be in the hands of genius. That, to me, that always fucks it up, you know. But yeah, I mean, but there is a thrill in it, and I think that's why it's so fun. Is that, you know, it's not really embarrassment. It's just you trying, and when you're around people that are helping you, you know, everybody's in it together, and that really is why collaboration is so much fun, because everybody feels it, you know. But yeah, it being precious and being, oh, I don't know. I mean, that's always the fear, is that someone is going to play you a song, and in your mind, as the song is going by, you're like, oh, this is boring, this is horrible, whatever. And then they get done with it, they're like, that's the song I wrote, you know, and my sister.
Yeah.
And years ago, and it's just this is the most important song I could have ever written. And in your mind, you're like, oh man, this thing is fucking boring. You know, you can't do that. You know, it really just has to work as a song for the listener. It can't just work for the person that's singing it, you know. So I never do, you know, I don't ever put any more weight into the song. If I think it's heavy, well, that's fine, but it's supposed to be the listener that thinks it's heavy. And stuff.
Right, you can't prescribe that. You can't be in charge of making them feel that way. Yeah. Well, hey, it's wonderful talking to you. I think they're going to shut down Instagram on us here, but you were so easy, and so you're a great listener. I could see exactly why you're gonna continue to make cool music and do cool acting things out there. So good luck to you, man. I hope I see you in real life somewhere. But if I don't, this is great for me. Yeah, really appreciate it. Yeah, big fan. Thank you. Yeah, appreciate it. Enjoy the Miami jungle that you're in right now. I hope you have fun there. We're gonna go outside and look and see if a fire is just down the road. If it is, we'll escape. So all right, I love you, man. I'll give you away. So much. Okay, see you. Yeah, I don't really even.
stop this thing. I mean, I may just be
I
sitting.
don't know. I think I
using-
hold on. Maybe accidentally. Oh yeah, I'm gonna leave. Okay, bye, Wayne.
Okay. Oh no! What do we do now?